So Romelu Lukaku looks like he's going to be making a mega money move to Manchester United, with a reported £75 million fee agreed, plus Everton wanting another potential £15 million in add-ons, meaning the Belgian could cost £90 million and make him the most expensive player in the world, eclipsing the £89.3 million deal that brought Paul Pogba back to Manchester United. With that in mind, let's look at the most expensive Premier League 11 ever. In goal, it's Ederson. The Brazilian moved to Manchester City for £35 million this summer, making him the most expensive goalkeeper in history, but only in pounds sterling. When Gianluigi Buffon moved to Juventus from Parma back in 2001, he cost €53 million, which equated to £32.6 million, while Ederson only cost €40 million, but with the current price of the pound, the exchange rate converted that to £35 million. Little bit of trivia there for you. Don't say HITC isn't educational. Will he be worth it? That remains to be seen, but he can't be worse than Claudio Bravo. Our first defender is Shkodran Mustafi. Yep, we're playing a really imbalanced 3-4-3 formation that would look more at home on FIFA than in an actual football pitch. The German defender moved to the Emirates last season for around £35 million, as Arsene Wenger looked to shore up his defence and make a charge for the Premier League title. It didn't work and Arsenal finished 5th, but I don't think that was Mustafi's fault. Next up, it's John Stones. The most expensive defender in Premier League history and the second most expensive defender in the world, second to the third defender in this team, who we'll come to next. How many more times can we say defender? John Stones and his lovely cagoule cost Manchester City £47.5 million last summer, and that fee just epitomised the problem with inflated prices for English players. The spotlight was on Stones even brighter in his debut year at the Etihad, and it probably didn't go as planned. Our third defender is David Luiz. The wacky-haired Brazilian is the most expensive defender in history, but that wasn't when he joined Chelsea, it was when he left the first time round. PSG paid the London club £50 million for Luiz in 2014, and just 2 years later he was back at Stamford Bridge, costing Chelsea £34 million, with potential add-ons on top of that. Thank God the David Luiz that came back to Chelsea was a mature defender who could be relied on, rather than the erratic one who just drew comparisons to Sideshow Bob trying to murder Bart Simpson. In midfield we've got Angel Di Maria. One of 3 Manchester United purchases in this side, there was so much excitement when Angel Di Maria moved to Old Trafford from Real Madrid for £59.7 million, following a fantastic season at the Bernabeu. The Argentinian started brightly, began to fade, almost had his house broken into, hated Manchester, left for PSG and became simply known as a Premier League flop. Next up, it's Paul Pogba. His time as the most expensive player in world football could be about to come to an end, and if you listen closely, you can hear someone saying what a waste of money Pogba was and how poor he was last season. But then again, the bloke was always going to be considered disappointing unless he scored 50 goals and racked up another 20 assists in his first season. Pogba's £89.3 million move to Man United really put the pressure on him to perform, and expect him to take his game to another level this season, especially if he can link up with Lukaku. Get in, made it through that without any hair jokes. Another Manchester based player next, it's Kevin De Bruyne. The strawberry blonde playmaker moved to the Etihad for £55 million for his second crack at the Premier League, having been shipped out of Chelsea by Jose Mourinho in 2014. As always, questions were asked when City shelled out a club record fee, claiming he wasn't worth that much. But he sharp shut them up, and is probably my favourite player to watch in the Premier League right now, him or Jonathan Walters. On the left we've got Raheem Sterling. Anthony Martial could make this team if he makes another 10 appearances for France and wins the Ballon d'Or in the next 2 years, which would see Monaco receive another £15 million for the Frenchman, on top of the £43.5 million the Red Devils have already paid, having had to fork out another £7.5 million after the forward scored his 25th Man United goal. But for the meantime, it's Raheem Sterling in this team, the 4th and final Man City player, costing them an initial £44 million, which could rise to £49 million. Another example of inflated fees for English players. At 22 years old, Sterling has so much time to prove his worth and learnt to stop running with his arms flapping like a bird. Our front three kicks off with Fernando Torres. The Spaniard cost Chelsea £50 million in what remains the highest fee Chelsea have ever spent on a player. And if they could go back in time, they'd probably reconsider buying the striker. Torres' time at the Bridge was a massive waste of time. The goals didn't flow like they used to at Liverpool, and while he did score that incredibly important goal at the Nou Camp that did things to Gary Neville that no woman ever could, we also had to witness Torres' open goal miss at Old Trafford. Swings and roundabouts. Also up front, it's Alexandre Lacazette. Arsenal's record signing, the Gunners had to pay Lyon £46.5 million plus another 6.1 in add-ons, making it the first time Arsene Wenger has spent more than £50 million on a player. The poor bloke's probably having heart palpitations every time he thinks about it. For his sake, let's hope he gets the goals, although Arsenal Fan TV would be hilarious if he ends up like Marouane Chamakh. And finally, it's Romelu Lukaku. Manchester United have agreed a £75 million deal with Everton, with an additional £15 million worth of add-ons, as well as Wayne Rooney going the other way, which could make this the first ever £100 million deal. The Belgian will finally get the chance to show he's a Champions League player, and he can thank United's escapades in the Europa League for that. Will Lukaku propel Manchester United to their first Premier League title post Sir Alex Ferguson? We shall see come May 2018. So that's the most expensive Premier League 11 ever. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.